those changes. There we go. All right. So now, and thank you, Nick and Dan, for chiming in there and letting me know, because otherwise I wouldn't know. For some reason, my broadcast system decides to forget what audio input to use, which is weird, but here we are. Still sounds okay here? Yeah, okay. But those are useless unless my broadcaster's working, and now it's working, so that's awesome. Cool. All right. Let me get my bearings here. Oh dear. Wanted to move through your. Let's move this tab over. There we go. Cool. Wanted to move through the assignments you guys had put in or turned in today. Remember, this is the anomaly where our assignment is due at the end of class. So if you're one of the 12 folks who has not turned it in, then you've got time now to work on that. Nick, are you logged into your school Hazlet, like your Hazlet school account? If you're logged into your personal account, that would be why. But you're the only person out of 130 students that can't open anything I post on Classroom. Make sure you're logged into the right account, right? Both on the Chromebook and in Google Chrome. And then let me know if a simple restart, log out, log in will rectify that. Because two of the documents that are up there are PDFs, which are universal, and then the other one is a Word document, which arguably might be a little wonky in Google, but there's never an issue opening it. So I'm curious if you just tried checking your account, logging out, logging in, and seeing if that does it. Dan, are you still not able to hear anything? Because I fixed the audio issue. So I'm curious if you just tried. I don't know why it's echoey. That's actually really bothering me as well, or at least it sounds echoey in my computer. I don't know why that's the case. But it could be just when I do that. We'll see. So Nick, what happens when you click on a document to open? I'm just curious, is there a message that pops up? Can you grab a screen of that so I can look into what the issue might be? Oh, Dan's good now? Okay, cool. All right, I got my second monitor up today, so my eyes will be darting back and forth between my cam and my computer and my monitor over there, so at least I can have the broadcaster and chat open at the same time so I can see things a little bit quicker, especially when I'm showing them on my computer. I don't have much to show on my computer today. Let's get into the student work here. So as it stands now, at a glance, I haven't looked at any of these yet, but I'll be moving through them now. Matt, Madison, Joe, Shannon, Amy, Jaden, Ashley, Dan, Michael, Anna, Tyler, Jackie, Mike. Nope, that's it. I take that back. I take the last few back. It stops at Mike. Anna, Tyler, and Jackie. Mike, I read your names prematurely. Let's organize this by who's finished. Yep, Matt, Maddie, Joe, Shannon, Amy, Jaden, Ashley, Dan, Michael. I've received your assignments. Is Michael in the chat here today? Michael is not. Okay, because I received Michael's, but there's nothing in it. So that's not going to count. Dan, Matt, Liana. Okay, let's start moving through the list here. So the name of the game for today, of course, because our assignment is due at the end of class, we've got until 11 o'clock to turn that in on time. But I wanted to move through the project proposals that you put in. just to troubleshoot, give you some feedback live. If you're working on some stuff and are going to turn it in at the end of class, by all means, go for it. You can always check back in then, as well as make any adjustments. So I got Dan's project open now. It looks like he's going to give us some instruction on how to hit a line drive in baseball. Awesome. That's really cool. So like when I tell Dan that he missed the entire part 1 section, you did none of the intro, Dan. You didn't answer questions 1, 2, or 3. I can put that note in there. Part 1 was skipped. Complete and resubmit. Post it, return it. So Dan, now that you can hear me, I've returned your assignment because you forgot the first 3 questions. So you have an opportunity to do that now and get that back in by the end of class. Otherwise, I'm excited. I think it's a really cool thing to demonstrate. And visually, it'll be really nice to like watch as well. You'll be outside. That'll be great. Matt, let's go and see what Matt's got cooking. Wow, Matt, you sent a ton of screenshots. What's going on here? How to kickstart your day at making eggs. What kind of eggs? And that would be my advice. Specify what kind of eggs you are making. Scrambled eggs, over easy, sunny side up. There are a ton of different eggs. And then also I would suggest, are you getting into any of the health benefits as to why it's a good way to start your day? Right? Eggs are got good cholesterol, high in protein, low in fat. Common misnomers about cooking eggs. I make eggs all the time. I love eggs. I think they're a great like superfood. But you might want to get into some stuff that people do incorrectly. Or how to like troubleshoot. Oh, you cracked your egg into a bowl and there's a little bit of shell. Here's the best way to get that out. Did you know that you're not supposed to add salt while cooking eggs? Common mistake. Post it. And return it. Nick, I don't have much of a solution for you. I don't know why it would be doing that in regards to, like, it sounds like it's a Nick specific Chromebook issue, as I haven't had any other issues. Is it just my class? Or are you having the issue in other classes as well? I mean, I can reach out to the tech office and see why that would be causing an issue, but it would be odd that it would be just my classes. It would be odd that it would be just you, because if it's a document issue, then it would affect everybody. And if it's not just me, then it would be in every single one of your classrooms. Shannon. Sorry, I'm just going down the list of folks that are in the chat so that I can move through your pre-production treatments and worksheets and give you some feedback. If you're turning yours in a little bit later, I will bounce back to the top and get it. So Shannon's going to do a little cosmetology here. Awesome sauce. Really good at straightening my hair, safely being the key word. Safely. The hair straighteners, really? Wow. I had no idea that that was a thing in the 1800s. Pretty impressive. As someone with a lot of hair, this will be a very, very insightful video. I'll have to practice some of these things when it's done. Cool. I like that. There's been such a good diversity of stuff coming in, whether it's like arts and crafts. I've had a lot. Yesterday there were some cooking ones. I had some really silly ones. Looking good there. Joe. Moving on to Joe. Oh, Adam's here. Joe, you're stealing my Macon grilled cheese? Oh, man. Joe, I'm not going to argue your way of making a grilled cheese sandwich. I think people are going to do that for you. I won't make any comments here in the chat. I'm not saying your way is wrong. I'm just saying I would disagree with it. But that's just me. That's how I like my grilled cheese versus how you make yours. I take issue with step 6 or 7. I already forget which one it was. Step 6. Yeah, I take issue with step 6, but that's just me. Jake, that's a good question. So you can do multiples. I mean, right, there's a 15-shot minimum, and I've only given 5 shots. So as long as you have like a extreme close-up tracking shot would count for one of those. But I would also wager that an extreme close-up, and remember what an extreme close-up is. An extreme close-up is so close that it magnifies beyond what the human eye can see. So doing a tracking shot when we're already so close on a subject that we wouldn't normally be that close to could be a little disorienting because every movement of the camera is going to be so intense. So then I would argue that get your extreme close-up as a static shot, and then I would apply your tracking shot elsewhere. Joe to the defense. Oh, no, yeah, no, it sounds like it would be much quicker. But at what point do you compromise speed for quality? Again, I'm not saying your way is wrong. In fact, you might even inspire me to try it that way, although I very rarely keep bread in the house, so that might be tough. All right. Oh, Madison, I'm so sorry. I skipped over you somehow. I apologize. Let's get into Maddie B's. Really good at making a bed. Okay, something I refuse to do. A little background on beds. Wow, it goes back to Rome. Interesting. Okay. Pillows date back to 7,000 BC. Jeez. See, this is the kind of stuff where you never, like, who would ever think to look at, like, cool, awesome. You make your bed every day. Now, is that because you want to or because you were told to? I'm just curious. I don't like sleeping in a made bed. It needs to, like, I want to get back in it the way I got out of it. That's just me. I don't like the tuck. Ugh. Cool. Google, something's wrong. Try again. Okay, I'll try again. Thanks, Google. Oh, and it posted the comment twice. That's all right. So for the folks that are getting the feedback here, Maddie, that looks great. Run with it. Have fun. I'm also returning these as well. So the grades will be posted on Google Classroom. They're not going to be posted in my gradebook yet. I'll have to go in once they're all finished and add those. But at least you'll get an idea of what you got before it's posted, like officially, I suppose. Oh, Dan turned his back in. Let's take a quick look, Dan, see if we can check off boxes 1, 2, and 3. Wow. 10 years and you're an umpire? That's really cool. I was an umpire once for my brother's Little League game. Like the umpire never showed, and so there weren't any parents that wanted to do it. And I was just like, I'll try it. Never again. There's a reason why parents didn't want to do it. I was like 15 and I got yelled at all the time. It was bad. Cool. Awesome. Whoops. Post it. Please don't give me an error. Google's been weird lately, giving me errors on stuff. I don't know why. And return it. Fantastic. Trekking on down the list, we're going to hit... nope, Dylan's isn't in there. Jake's isn't in there. Michael, you are here. Thanks. I don't know if you heard what I had said earlier. You turned something in, but there's nothing attached to it. So I'm going to return it with no grade. Make sure the appropriate document is attached to that and then get that in. Otherwise, I've got Amy's, Jaden's, Ashley's ready to go. So I'm hoping if we're here and you didn't just hear your name, you're working on the assignment now. And that way, if you have questions, ask away. I'm going to jump back to the bottom of the chat here. I'm moving up. Are we allowed to do a voiceover? Absolutely. Yes. Now remember, one of the requirements is that you still need to appear on camera. So a voiceover is great if you're doing something where, obviously, like we're going to show the visual parts of you doing it, but it might not be a good idea for you to explain what you're doing while you're doing it. And you may want to script what you're going to say so that it sounds a lot better. And so that way you can kind of introduce your topic at the beginning of your video. You can start going through your steps and use that voiceover to talk over what you're doing. And that way you can kill the audio in the background too if it's not the greatest. And then you can see yourself again at the end. So I think a voiceover, Anna, would be an awesome way to add a nice little extra layer of polish to this for sure. I don't see Amy or Jaden or Ashley. So I'm going to, they're here. I'm just going to hold off on them. There's no point in me going over stuff for people if they're not in the chat. Oh dear, let's take a look here. Nick, if you're still there, I was hoping to get an answer to the question of whether or not you're having any issues in any other of your Google Classrooms, or if it's just mine. I want to shoot a question in the tech office and then, see if there's a reason why that would be the case. In a worst of worst case scenarios, maybe we can try like unenrolling you from the class and then re-enrolling you into the class. That might do it. When is the project due? Excellent question, Dan. And while I have most of you guys here, let's just take a look at the calendar again. So today is the day where the pre-production worksheet is due. We can get that feedback. I can return it, kind of give you that green light to move into production. The next two classes, all right, which would be Thursday and then the following Monday, have been dedicated for production days. So you can use that hour for whatever it is that you need to do, either for this class or others, but know that I'm allotting that time for you to get work done on your project. I understand that realistically you might have to, take care of stuff around the house, or you've got another project that you can use that time to work on. Or you might be going, hey, my dad's going to help me, hold the phone while I'm recording or doing stuff. He'll help me when he gets home from work. And those hours were just, if you need to shuffle that time. All right. I'm not saying that you can only shoot your project from 10 to 11 on Thursday or Monday coming up, because that's very unrealistic. So I just wanted to make sure that when you're allocating your time in other like other parts of the day, that the time that we have for class is at the very least kind of eased up for you. So if you know that you're going to shoot how to hit a line drive at in the evening, like if you want to start around 5 o'clock, because that's when you can get some extra help, cool. If that means then that on that day that you don't have to do anything like classwork wise for me, awesome. So it's just trying to respect the time that you guys are going to put into shooting this video, knowing that you're probably going to shoot it outside of our class time. So I'm still going to be available during that time for you guys to reach out. I'm debating whether or not to do a YouTube live stream like we have, or do an all-day Zoom meeting where people can come and go as they please if they have quick questions. So the post for that day will either be a YouTube link or it'll be the Zoom instructions. Just because if people do need help, they'd be more inclined to drop into a Zoom for 2 minutes and then bounce. And then if they need to come back, they can. So those will be the next two classes. The two classes after that, which for you guys will be Wednesday the 13th and Friday the 15th, are going to be dedicated as post-production edit days. So I will be available again for any help that people need if they've got questions at that point, being in WeVideo. The hours that will be in class that day are strictly set aside for troubleshooting, questions and answers, and WeVideo demonstrations. So, and if you're editing outside our class time, perfectly fine as well. You can pop in for a question or two, or you can pop in and say, Mr. Leonard, I'm good. I'm going to edit later. I understand WeVideo, no questions, see you later. That's cool too. And then the project is going to be due, all right, by the start of the class after that. So it'll be due, if we have our edit days on the 13th and 15th, it will be due by 9:59 on Tuesday, May 19th, which is exactly 2 weeks from now. So I understand that that's a lot of time. You've got 2 weeks and 2 weekends on the ends there to find time to do this 2.5 minute video. And we've already started mapping out the process with this worksheet. So I'm hoping that's more than enough time. I would rather give you more time than you think you need to make sure you have it, and so that you can work it around your other classes and classwork, than say, oh, okay, it's going to be due at the beginning of next week. Could you do it in a week? Probably, but I want to be really understanding of everything that's going on. And so I didn't want to be overburdening or taxing with the due date on this. So there's plenty of time. But to answer your question more directly, by the start of class on the 19th. And we'll start watching on the 19th, and we'll get through as many as we can. And if that trickles into the class at the end of that week, that's fine, because we'll probably breathe before we get into our next topic. That'll take us, till the end of the year. Adam, top-down shot, great question. So, top-down shot is a type of bird's eye shot that's going to be directly above a subject looking straight down. So to give you an example here, I'm going to grab my sloth, okay? And so my little sloth sits on my table. And I'm going to take my webcam, because why not? All right, I apologize for the mess and all that jazz, and hopefully I don't trip on anything. So, right, if we got a shot of our sloth, I'm trying to see it here in my. Let's click over here. There we go. All right, so here's our sloth, and I'm just going to lay it down on the ground. And so the top-down shot is going to look, as I get out of the shot, I'll rotate this a little bit. It is straight down on the subject, and you can get closer to it. You can be here, you can be well above it. I guess it really depends on what it is that you're showing, but it's going to be directly above your subject, looking down, straight down, and you still want it to be framed correctly. So as much as possible, you're going to want to make sure that you follow the rule of thirds, of course, right? And try our best to keep every aspect of that subject in frame if it fits, right? Depending on what it is you're showing a top down of. If you're doing a demonstration, right, and I'm going to use Dan's example again, where he's got some baseball gear out. If he wanted to do a top down shot of that baseball gear, well, depending on what he's got there, he might either have a wider shot or a tighter shot, right? A glove and ball top down is going to look a lot tighter than a glove, ball, and bat because that bat's a little bit longer. So I hope that helped answer a little bit. Skadoosh. All right, Michael turned it in. Awesome. Well, turned it in correctly, which is awesome. So let's go take a look at Michael's, and I'll jump into Dylan's and Jake's. Michael is really good at juggling a soccer ball. I went to soccer camp when I was little, and this was the one thing I was not very good at. And we did these like marathon competitive drills, and like one of the first things you had to do was juggle a soccer ball to 50. And you can take as long as you needed. You just couldn't move on to the next activity or next like station until you hit it 50 times. And I was just not very good at it. Maybe that's because I was a goalie and couldn't juggle, but I can hacky sack really well. So all right, so Michael, the one piece of advice I would give you definitely is that there's a lot of stuff in your steps, right? Flip the soccer ball up, catch the soccer ball on your foot. Well, what if I can't do that? Right? You might need to break down some of the stuff that you can do probably without even thinking about it a little bit more specifically. And I would definitely consider making sure that you mention in some capacity, whether it's in your title or whether it's maybe in your introduction, that this is an intermediate skill. So if someone hasn't ever put on cleats and kicked a soccer ball, this might not be the best video to watch because you don't have the basic skills down yet. So you might want to just kind of make sure that's part of your video. And then I guess just be extra careful when shooting this if you're doing it yourself that you don't like, I don't know, I've seen it happen dozens of times. Someone kicks the ball right into the camera and then boom. Which funny, yes. Broken phone, not as funny. But that looks great. I'm glad to see a lot of the athletic ones. All right, let's jump into Dylan's D Monies. Egg in the hole. Another breakfast, another egg thing. Okay, all right. And we're using Grandma's recipe. That is a surefire way to win people over. Do you cook the whole? I'm just curious. If you the part that you cut out, do you like butter up and throw on the grill? Of course, right? I do. You got to dip it, man. Dippy eggs. All right, so Dylan. Oops, wrong section. So Dylan, I'm going to return this to you. You forgot to do section 3, which is the shots. So you left that whole chart blank. Oh, wait, unless. Nope. Make sure that we fill that out. So no score, I returned it so you can take care of that. Make sure we get section 3 filled out. And now Jake's. Strawberry and banana smoothie. Guys are making me hungry and I just had breakfast. It's not good. Ooh, vanilla extract and syrup. What kind of syrup? Like a maple syrup? Interesting. I've never considered vanilla or syrup. But make sure you explain what kind of syrup. Only because if it isn't maple syrup, like maybe we don't want a maple. Maybe it's just like a simple syrup, which is like, you know, a thicker sugary water. Specify a little bit if you're using simple syrups, maple syrups, or any other kind of syrups, really. And smoothies are great, especially for how-to, because there's so much variety and alternatives that you can do to like tweak it to your liking. So like getting the basics down. Is great to build the foundation. Like I would look at this and go, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, I want to protein this up, so I'm going to add a scoop of protein powder, or I'm going to add some flaxseed, or I'm going to add, you know, like a half a cup of yogurt." Right? You go strawberry banana milk. I would go strawberry banana orange juice for some vitamin C. But again, like that's why cooking's so great, because you change one ingredient, totally different type of smoothie. So Jake, that's excellent. Looking forward to seeing that. See, the benefit to all the food ones is, Dylan, if you're like, oh man, I messed up this egg in a hole, well, I guess I have to eat it and try again. And then you get to, you know, continuously snack while you're working. Okay. So Dylan, hopefully you heard my note about getting section 3 filled out. Resubmit that when you can. If I've given you guys feedback, if you're on the list of folks who I've looked at and returned with, say, hey, awesome, move on to production, feel free to move on to production. If you want to leave now, by all means, go for it. There's no reason for you to stay here if we're not going to cover more of your stuff. You're more than welcome to head on out. Just, you know, be courteous. Say goodbye in the chat. I had some folks yesterday that were like, just they left. I'm like, oh, that's kind of rude. But again, I want to value your time. So there's no reason for me to keep you here if you got your feedback. If you think that, hey, yeah, I've got 25 minutes, I can start to shoot some stuff. Why not? And I'll just keep Google Classroom open so that anything else that gets turned in, I can quickly give some notes and feedback on. Oh, there it is. That's the scary number. Oh, dear. You turned it in, Nick. So were you able to access it? What did you do differently that caused it to work? I still never heard if so did resetting the router fix the issue? That's so strange. All right, let's take a look at Nicholas. And then Liana, who snuck hers in there. Cheese quesadilla. Not quite a grilled cheese, but we're up there. And again, very flexible. Going with the hot sauce. Sour cream. Okay, all right, got a dunk. What kind of seasoning do you use? I'll put a little bit of oil in the pan, let that heat up a little bit, but I'll put in a little garlic powder as well and let that like cook. So when you put the tortilla in, kind of rub it around, get that garlic to stick to it, makes it a lot better. All right, Nick, awesome. Move into production. Let's go check out Liana's once this posts. Please post. Do the thing. All right. Liana's going to be showing us baking a vanilla cake. Not just cake, vanilla cake. Interesting that we specified. But I also applaud it because vanilla cake, I think, is better than chocolate cake. Most people don't agree. And double props because based on your ingredient equipment list, looks like you're making it from scratch, which is even more impressive. Or anyone can make it out of the box. That's easy. But it looks like you're going all in. Beautiful. Baking with Liana. I love it. I'm excited. And now everyone in your family gets to have a cake afterwards. Very cool. All right, so for the folks still working, you got about 15 minutes, but I'm probably going to end the stream in the next 5 minutes to make sure I can reset it up for my next period class after you guys. All right. So if you turn it in that small window where the stream will be down, I'll make sure there are notes and feedback in the document. And if we get it in later, well, then I'm going to be checking back later, but that feedback will come to you when I have a chance to sit down and look at all the ones that are turned in late. Meat sandwiches. All right. A lot of food ones here. That's okay, though. Amy's going to give us some ramen. Jade's going to give us some deli sandwiches. This is very exciting. See, now I wish this was something that we can like do in school, and then we can have all these foods, just like have a little mini party while we watch everyone's stuff. We can eat cake and sandwiches and noodles and quesadillas and grilled cheese, and it's way too early for lunch, but I'm thinking about it. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. All right, so the chat's gone a little quiet. I've graded everyone's that's here, and we've only got 6 viewers left, which is fine. If you got your feedback and head on out, right, perfect. That's totally okay. But I am going to conclude the stream here today, so that I can get set up for my next period class. What that's going to mean for the rest of this week on Thursday and Tuesday, right? Those are going to be our dedicated shooting days. So I will be available either through a stream or a Zoom meeting for you guys to check in as you need to, all right, to give us some updates, ask some questions, get some help, whatever you need, all right? But those are dedicated days for you to shoot. So I'm hoping you capitalize on that time or reallocate that time, right? Do like homework that you would do at night during our hour together, and then use the hour later to go shoot your project. Responsibility is on you to manage your time well. We got plenty of it. Project's not due until the 19th, so that post will be up on Classroom soon. Was really hoping to get through that without sneezing, but there we are. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Good luck shooting if you're starting today or tomorrow, and maybe we'll touch base on Thursday. All right, I'll talk to you then. Adios.